I'm David Berlin with ZDNet, and I'm at Mashup Camp in Silicon Valley. There you go, Mashup Camp on my badge there. And sitting with me is Mark Madsen, one of the developers here. You're the founder and president of Third Nature, right? What is Third Nature?
Yes. I am a consulting and industry analyst firm.
Okay.
So track a lot of the technology market, emerging technologies, things like mashups.
And who are your clients?
I have large corporate clients. I've done some work for companies like Business Objects, Oracle, Microsoft, and startups.
Okay, great. And you're showing off some mashups here. You're actually competing in a couple different contests. So what is the one mashup that you're showing here?
So the mashup that I and another guy from Apatar have developed is a cold calling assistant for Salesforce.com. And the idea behind it is that you're trying to raise the close ratio for meetings with clients. So what we have is we have a Salesforce account, and we have a lot of prospects in that account. And we go through here, and this is a screenshot of our actual Salesforce account showing the data in there.
So we're not looking at the mashup yet. We're just looking at sort of data that sits over in Salesforce.
This is Salesforce.
Just proving that the data exists over there, right?
This exists.
All right.
And when you click on the Add to Campaign button in Salesforce, you're generating a list of people to cold call, and this is all the kind of contact information, the address, phone number, everything.
And in true Salesforce fashion, when you add somebody to a campaign, it routes to another user and it ends up on their to-do list or something like that, right?
So you'll have a list
to
call, exactly. And then what we do then is that's our starting source for all of our data. So you're going to make cold calls to people you don't know, you've never talked to before at these companies. And so we're trying to provide some assistance to help you get that call and get that first meeting.
Okay.
And when you hit this web page for the mashup, what you're getting is the information live straight out of Salesforce. So this data is going out through Apatar, generating an RSS feed in Salesforce and bringing that prospect list back.
Okay.
And the prospect list is displayed up here, and there's a bunch of contextual information. One of the first things here is, based on the company, we go out to a financial service. And
so we're looking at the person who is the prospect, and there's their company name. In this case, it says IBM, and down below it's showing competitors.
Yes.
Okay. Competitors to IBM.
These are IBM's competitors.
Okay, gotcha.
And it's also automatically populating the news feed for the last 24 hours of news about IBM. So we're specifically going out to the business news feed and pulling news stories.
So this is the sort of information that's useful if you're making a cold call. You want to know who the competitors are to the person. You want to be smart about it. You want to at least sound smart about it. You want to know what the most recent news was that was associated with that company that you're cold calling.
Exactly.
So this is sort of like information at your fingertips. Is that true? Sort of like, hey, make me smart, but I don't have a whole lot of time to do the research. Okay, I like this.
The idea was to really make this something that would give you at least some tidbits of information so that you could have a conversation and have some topics to seed it. Because cold calling is really hard. I've done it myself. It's a challenge, and at least you have some door openers if you get some company news. And with all of the competitors, we've made that contextual as well, so that when you choose a particular competitor, say I come over here and we're looking at IBM and I choose Hewlett-Packard, the competitor news feed here shows Hewlett-Packard.
Right.
So this is context dependent on whichever competitor. So you can look and you know that there's some things going on. You can see all the news related to that. And you can see topics for conversation. Say, I see this competitor's doing this. What are you doing in that space?
Very interesting. Now, you just talked about the different types of data you have here. You're drawing upon what again for the competitors?
Competitors, we're pulling a financial news feed, and we've got that lists primary competitors for a given company.
And where's that from?
This one is Google Finance.
Okay.
And
then where's the news coming from?
The two news feeds we have are the most recent 24-hour news feeds from Google News, where we're passing in the company names, and we're getting the data back based on whatever you've displayed on the screen here.
So you're drawing on Salesforce, you're drawing on Google Financial, and you're drawing on Google News.
Right.
Okay, so far so good. And I see a weather widget here.
Yeah.
What's that for?
The basic idea is this gives you the topics of conversation. Now, if the call's going well, one of the things that we want to give you easily, since these are people all over the place, is what are the restaurants within a 20-mile radius of their office?
I see.
So we take the address, we bring up the Google map that has their office on it, and then we generate a list of restaurants. And based on the conversation, you can, informal or formal, you can take the list of restaurants we've populated, throw them on the map.
And where does that come from, the list of restaurants?
So we're actually using the local search functionality where you can find businesses within a radius in Google.
And then you have Google Maps. So a lot of Google stuff being pulled.
Yeah,
right?
we did a lot of that because we found that they generated the most friendly HTML for page scraping and things like that.
Gotcha, okay.
So this information is then pulled. So you've got the AccuWeather information in this.
So
And the idea was, based on the weather, if it's sunny, we can suggest that you take them on a golfing outing. If it's raining, we can suggest a dinner or a lunch meeting. And based on the weather, show that data here and that map data.
Wow. Well, this is a real business application. You know, when you think about all the mashups we've seen and a lot of them coming out, they're kind of consumer-oriented, you know, music, TV, that kind of stuff. This is a real business application. This is really cool. Now, I see that you're using IBM's QED Wiki, and I heard you just say you didn't have much time. How long did it take you to develop this whole thing?
Well, if we ignore the amount of time that we spent just learning some of the tools that we were new to, like QED Wiki, I'd say it was about 9 hours.
And to the extent that you use QED Wiki, how much of a role did that play in building this whole application?
Well, a lot of these data feeds are just simple renderings of data that have been formatted. This Google Map, we decided not to pull in the Google Maps API and build our own, because this is a widget. All of these list boxes are things that you can simply drag and throw on the screen, and you point them to a feed and you have your data.
So QED Wiki played a major role in the fact that it only took 9 hours.
Yeah, because without that we would have had to use some sort of widget library, JMockey or Dojo or whatever, to do these things, and would have been a lot more wiring. Because the other thing that we're showing is the interactivity. When this dynamically populates from Salesforce and you pick IBM, or I could switch over here and pick Google.
So everything changes. The competitors, the news, the weather, everything changes.
Everything changes. News feeds, the competitor news feeds, the weather's changing. You can see that it's now centered on San Jose instead of being in Almaden or in West Virginia.
It's a real mashup. There you have it. You know, this is business mashups happening right here, developed before our eyes, right at Mashup Camp. This is what Mashup Camp's all about, you know, the hacking that takes place here. And to see some business stuff starting to come out is really cool. So, hey, Mark, thanks very much for giving me the demo.
Thank you. It was a blast.
For ZDNet at the Computer History Museum in Silicon Valley at Mashup Camp, I'm David Berlin.